Hello. So what I'm going to show you today is going to build off of the console video I put up recently. And basically it's about the web console. And I just want to show you how you can add this toggle so you can pull up your web console at the bottom here by pressing escape here. And then I can press escape again to hide it. So I'm going to go to the previous app that I had demoed in the previous video, and let's just start it up here. I'm just going to close this. I just wanted to give you a demonstration of what we're going to do today. And then I'll start up these two things. Let me just stash this code actually. Rails server here and close this. Okay, so here, and let's just refresh. We've got our web console. All is good. Okay, so here, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to move. I ended the last video with the console being set up in the application controller. I'm just going to move this into the layout just because that's my preference, is to have it here. It's usually where I look when I want to remove it or something like that. There we go. And then I'll just remove it all from here. Refresh the browser. And need a question mark. Okay, so there we go. We have our console. If I comment this out, refresh the browser, no console. That's good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add some JavaScript so that we can press escape to show and hide it whenever we want. Right now, it's always going to show, assuming I save this, but I want to be able to press escape to hide it and show it. So to do that, what I've done here is I've started my Rails server, and here I'm just running this, which you may or may not have to do, the Webpack dev server. And let's create some JavaScript for this console. So let's open up the pack, and this will be, where is it here? I think it's right here. Yep. Okay, so I opened up application.js in the packs folder, and I'm just going to import another folder here called console. This will fail now. Save that. It doesn't like that because that folder doesn't exist. So I'll create it here. New file. And oops, we want a new folder really to start off with. New folder. We'll call this one console. And then I'll create a new file in there called index.js. That's what the Webpack expects to find. So we'll say new file, and we'll call this one index.js. There we go. Now Webpack is happy down here. And just to show that we are reaching that, I'll just put a hello world inside this. So here we are. It's adding this file as part of the JavaScript. So now what I'm going to do is create the ability to show the console, hide the console, and add a key event so we can toggle that. So first thing we want to do is wait till the document's loaded. So in the Rails world with TurboLinks, we do a TurboLinks load, and we'll set up a function here. And now let's just put this in here, save this, and all is still good. So inside here, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a guard clause, and if the web console isn't loaded, then we'll just exit the function early. So we can say if type of REPL console, that's the JavaScript class our object it is undefined, then we'll just return. So we'll get out of there early if there's no console. So if I move this console log down here and save, you see hello world. But if there's no console, comment this out and save, and just save this. And now there's no hello world. So if there's no REPL console defined, we're not going to bother with the rest of the JavaScript in this function. I'll stick this back. So the first thing we're going to need to do is show and hide the console. So here it is here, the console, and here's my inspector. So as you can see, this REPL console represents the JavaScript for this actual console. And if we type that in here, let me just clear this. Let me just show only the console here. So you can see here, it's defined. And the current session is going to be useful for us. So current session just represents this active console that it's showing you. And so if I say a few things I want to show you. If I go .blur, watch what happens with this cursor here. So if I do .blur, then the cursor, it no longer has the focus. And if I say .focus, it once again has the focus. So this will be kind of useful for us. And then to show and hide it, this, if we inspect this console, you can see that there's an ID. Let me just show more of this stuff. I'll just make this full screen for now. So if we look at this console, and up here, you can see it has this ID of console there. So we can, to show and hide it, we can do a document.query selector. We can select it here. There we've got it. And now we can turn hidden to true when we don't want it around and make hidden false when we want it back. Those are the main things we're going to be doing here with the showing the console and hiding the console. So let's just copy all of those lines that I created to the editor. Let's see. So we're going to want this line. I'll just put them all here now, and then you can work with them in a minute. We want this line. We want this line. Not that line, exactly. This line we want. And then we want the false version of that. So here, so basically, let's create a few functions. So when we, first we'll hide the console. So we'll say hide console equals, we'll set up a function, and we want to set that to true, and we want to blur it so it doesn't have the focus. If we don't blur and we hide it, you're still going to have focus, and as you type, you're still actually going to be typing into it, which is probably not what you want to do. And now we'll also create a show console. Show console, and we'll, in this case, we're going to set hidden to false, and then we're going to show it and get rid of this here. So let's save this, make sure there's no errors. Errors in the console here, that's good. And now we will go back to this console here. So now the next step here, we can show and we can hide it. So the next step here is we want to bind it to a key. So we're going to add an event listener. So first we'll create a function for the listener. So I'm going to call this the escape listener because it's going to be the escape key I'm going to bind it to. Make this equal to an event. And for now, let's just start super simple. And let's just say escape pressed. And then let's bind it. We'll add the event listener. We'll make this key down, and we'll attach our escape listener. So now if I go to the browser and I press escape, if I do one thing at a time, there we go. And there we can see here this number is increasing each time I press it. So now what we actually want to do is just show or hide it depending on, oh yeah, I should also say this is responding to any key pressed. We have to actually check that it was really the escape key. So what I'll do here is I'll put if the event.key is not equal to escape. This is going to be another guard clause. Just for this little function, we're going to return. So if it's not escape, get out of the function. Otherwise, it's escape and we want to do something. So in our case, we basically want to see if it's hidden, we want to show the console. And if it's not hidden, we want to hide the console. So here we'll go query selector console. And then we'll say if it's hidden, then we will show the console. Oops. Otherwise, we'll hide the console. Let's make this a bit so we can see everything. We don't need that anymore. So now here, now we've got our console. So if I press escape, it's going to show and hide nice. It's going to have the focus always when I show it. And it's not going to have the focus when I hide it. Because that can be a little confusing if you don't realize it has the focus when it's hidden. So now the last thing I like to do is just add this one more hide console just here so that in the beginning, as I'm working on my website, there's no console, but if I ever need it, I just press escape and there's my console. And I can go to work. So that's what I wanted to show today, how you can kind of set this up on your projects and then easily pull up a console whenever you need it. So the key thing is this JavaScript file. Of course, you need to include the JavaScript file. Webpack needs to be aware of it. And then you also need to execute this console command. So hope this is useful, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.